Good evening, guys. I hope everyone's having a great evening on this Saturday. I'm uh, I'm coming from you from here in South Wales in the UK, and yeah, just wanted to catch up with you guys really, just to see how you're all doing, and just to make sure that you're enjoying your weekend. I hope everyone's who's struggling with gambling at the moment, who's currently going through um, withdrawal symptoms, maybe, or maybe you're finding it difficult to control your thinking patterns with regards to constantly wanting to get to gamble, or if you're having boredom problems and you're really tempting to go online and gamble. um, be strong. That's the first thing I would say. Find something that's going to occupy your thinking time. Maybe watch a film, watch a comedy, do something that's going to bring you peace or kind of enjoyment. If you like going to the gym, go to the gym, for example. Um, but if you are struggling, remember there's lots of things that you can do. You can go online and you can um, buy certain software for an annual fee or a monthly fee, where a certain provider would actually block any kind of internet, any kind of online gambling websites. So that does work. That is really handy for online problems, because once it's done on your devices, it's done for 12 months. So I found that very helpful in the past. So that's something just to remember. But the main thing I want to talk about today, guys, is um, the fact of the amount of people that currently, at the moment, suffer either with a gambling addiction or has potential to develop a gambling problem, from a survey that was conducted by the Gambling Commission in 2017. It was on the Guardian website. 2017 published that 2 million people currently have either a gambling addiction or will develop a gambling addiction, or has potential, sorry, to develop a gambling addiction. Now, for me, that's just unbelievable. And when you think about it, that's 2 years ago. Now, you could say a lot has happened in that 2 years, especially in the UK. A lot more TV advertising. Um, so yeah, we've heard things that a lot of children, a lot of youngsters now are getting into gambling as well. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. Um, when you think about it, I would go as far to say less people um, are actually. There's more people that have gambling addictions that are out of work at the moment. It's becoming an epidemic. It's becoming very, very serious. Um, and I'm concerned about it, and I don't think this government is doing anywhere near enough to actually put procedures and put limits and steps to actually safeguarding customers against the evils of these casinos, these high street bookies. I'm extremely concerned. I mean, I was on Twitter earlier on and I made an analogy. I used to work in call centres. I've worked in many call centres, and one of the rules that we have is that if a customer comes through and they have some kind of mental illness, but that's going to affect their memory or affect their judgment. Okay, you wouldn't sell a mobile phone to that person. Okay, but I know from research, and I know from speaking from personal experience with regards to myself, I know for a fact that if you've got a mental illness and you've got some kind of um, judgment or memory problem, I know for a fact, I've seen it with myself, I've seen it through research, that there's no protection for these kind of people when they go online to gamble. They'll happily take your money. You work into a bookies, they'll happily take your money. There's no safeguarding, there's no protection, and it's extremely worrying. Um, but what worries me and actually concerns me the most, if you want to look at it from a worldwide point of view, yeah, there's 2 years ago that it was said that there's 2 million people that have either a gambling problem or a potential to have a gambling problem. Um, but the UK isn't even. This is what surprised me. If you want to look at it from a worldwide scale, the UK isn't even in the top 10 of the biggest gamblers in the world. Okay? Now, this website that I went on, I'll just get it for you now. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's have a little look here now. So, this website basically have said the 10 top countries with the biggest gamblers in the world and make the most bets. Now, it's not stating that these countries that I'm going to tell you now have these problem have a certain amount of most people with gambling problems, but it doesn't take a genius to see that these 10 countries, if they're the biggest countries if they're the biggest gamblers in the world, an element of those people are going to be problem gamblers. And the UK, with 2 million problem gamblers, okay, don't even make the top 10. I mean, that's a scary thought in itself. So if we have a look at this, for example, the top 10 countries, this is going to be quite shocking. The top country, let's start from bottom to the first. The surprising list, because the countries that I thought would be on here aren't. But I will just run through it with you. So number 10, Spain. Spain is the 10th country in the world that gambles the most, whether it be online or in person, in the shops and casinos and betting places. Greece is ninth. Norway is 8th. Now, Norway surprised me a little bit. I must admit, Norway did surprise me a little bit. Hong Kong is 7th. Italy, 6th. Another one that surprised me was Finland. They're 5th. Canada was 4th. Canada. Ireland was 3rd. That doesn't really surprise me. This one surprised me, considering it's an Asian country. Singapore. Well, that did surprise me, because I thought in that Asian community, I would have imagined there'd been quite more of tighter restrictions, because I know a lot of Muslim countries, for example, are currently don't participate in online gambling, for example. So Singapore kind of surprised me. But the top country is Australia. Now, I don't know about you, but when you consider the United States aren't even in the top 10, the UK isn't even in the top 10. Your big European countries like Germany, um, France, lots of other different European countries, in fact, none of those in there. The only noticeable European countries that are there are Greece, Spain, Norway, Italy, Finland, and Ireland. You know, where's your big European countries? Yeah, like your Germanys, your Frances, your UKs, your Belgiums. You know, it's surprising. Russia's not in there. China's not in there. So the gambling situation across this world is unbelievable. When you think about that, 10 of those countries, top 10 countries for gambling in this world, and not even your big monster countries that you would expect to be heavy. When you think about America, you think about Las Vegas. Not even in the top 10. Not even in the top 10. When you think about the UK with all its horse racing and dog racing and online content and high street bookies, not even in the top 10. It tells me, guys, that the worldwide problem of gambling is huge. Is huge. And especially here in the UK, the link between people that have mental health problems and gambling is staggering, you know. Um, but you know, if you've got a problem, guys, like I mentioned in a previous video, and you know there's an underlying issue there, okay, get the underlying issue out of the way, get it sorted, get the help for it, yeah. That will be my biggest advice. Um, keep watching the videos that I'm doing every single day, guys. Okay, I want to give encouragement to you, encouragement that you stick with me now. Watch my videos, subscribe to the channel, and let's fight this gambling disease together. Let's try and push our government in here in the UK to have tighter laws and tighter restrictions against the gambling evil. You know, there's not enough being done at all. You know, almost 2 million people, over 2 million people in the UK with gambling addiction and potential to have a gambling addiction. 2 million. In the whole, you look at the world scheme, okay, we're a tiny, tiny percentage of the world's problem when it comes to gambling. Um, Alcohol and cigarettes, yeah? If you've got a mental um, problem, okay, you are going to get served. You are going to get served, you know, for placing a bet. They're not going to ask you, have you got judgment or memory problems? If I work in a call centre, that's the first thing that we have to fathom. Yeah? So is our government protecting our vulnerable? Is our government protecting the vulnerable against the evils of gambling? I'm not so sure they are. And if anyone watches this video and says, "Oh yes, we do," you know, we're making sure that the gambling companies now are pledging £60 million in helping more people that are suffering from gambling. They're putting more help into this. They've got the self-exclusion program thing that they do as well. Rubbish. It's all rubbish. The problem of gambling now has got so severe they need to treat it like cigarettes, okay? They've put massive, massive restrictions on cigarettes now. You can't even look at cigarettes behind the counter now. They're all dealt with a closing door. They're protected. With alcohol, you can't buy alcohol after 10 o'clock at night. I can go online. You can go online. You can place a bet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Gamble whenever you like. How is that right? How is that right? So this government isn't doing as much as they should be doing, and the aim of me creating this channel is for myself and all those people out there that has had made gambling's ruined their lives, and for people that have been on the receiving end of it, families that have seen their fathers, their brothers, their sons, not discriminating against women as well, mothers, sisters, or whatever. They've seen their family member be destroyed through gambling. Okay, remember, my grandfather was a gambling addict as well. I've told you before. You know, he lost everything, and my mum had to witness it firsthand. So, alcohol gets a big, big, big push. Alcohol problems, cigarettes get a big push. Drug use gets a big use. I don't believe that gambling isn't being protected enough. I'm sick and tired of seeing these adverts. And they'll say to you, "Oh, it's okay. You know, we'll put the adverts on after the watershed at 9 o'clock at night here in the UK. That's okay, that doesn't matter." What are you talking about? Of course it matters. Of course it matters. Yeah? Remember, we live in a world when online casinos and online betting shops and virtual betting is so easily accessible. It wasn't 20 years ago, but it is now. You see these gambling adverts on television or online. People that have addictive personalities and people that need that escapism, people that are compulsive, they will gamble. They will be stimulated by these adverts. You know, you stop smoking in pubs. Um, You can't sell alcohol after a certain time at night time. But I say again, gambling is 24/7. And is this government doing enough to protect the vulnerable? Is this government doing enough to protect the vulnerable? Guys, I'm going to recap on this video right now. The point I wanted to make today was that 2 million people suffer with gambling addiction or potential to have gambling addiction. We're not even in the top 10 countries that gamble the most. America are not even in the top 10. Russia, China, not even in the top 10. It's scary, guys. Scary of how big this gambling evil is in this world today. I pray, God, guys, with my heart and my soul, I pray. I really pray from my heart, okay, with Jesus Christ, my Saviour. Lord, if anybody today, or right now as we speak, is going through any gambling issue, please, Lord, give them the power and the strength to overcome it and to get the help that they need and to keep on never, ever, ever giving up, Lord. You can do this, guys. Stick with me daily. I love you.